Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Okay, so let's go through a few things first. Um, Saint Cyr got me dying right now, and Mr. Shook to you. So, um, Saint Cyr says, Z, you're a strong person for sitting through Ostepco rants. Only logical. What's going on? Only logical. I just checked out your video about the reach back too. Yeah, she won. She won. She won. When divesting goes right, or when yeah, I think that's when you said, yeah, when divesting goes right. Yeah, she won. She won the lottery. She won the lottery. She caught a brother that actually cared about her at post white schlong, right? So she won. She did it the right way. She did it the right way. Shout out to BGS who told you ain't nobody more pro black than a burnt ass a black woman that got burnt by the white dudes. BGS been telling you. Shout out to all you failed divestors and swirlers who are super pro black now. Anyway, yeah, that was really good. Only logical. That was really good. And Mr. Shook to you says, Z, they are way too selfish to make any rational work. Excuse me, relationship work. Women forget they may actually find pleasure serving others. I don't know how much that applies to Ostefco though. Seeing that she was a teacher, I'm not saying that you're wrong per se, but I am saying she may not necessarily fit exactly in that. Well, your real issue is that you're a selfish, a-hole, and you're not maybe giving, or maybe you're not as reciprocal as you would need to be in a healthy, loving relationship, right? Okay, let's go through a few things. So Stefco did mention trolls that were trolling her when she first put out her um what was it, the not pretty friend video, right? um yeah, so are you talking about me, Ostefco, and brothers like me? You're right. I wasn't trolling though. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't yeah, exactly. The unpretty privilege, the not having pretty privilege. Yeah, I was not trolling. Okay, um, let's go through it. So for those of you who haven't watched, hopefully you have. Obviously, I'm going to be making reference to it. Um, Ostefco put out a think piece, which I think was actually good. This actually would be a field piece. This is like by definition a field piece. A field piece um, speaking about dating at 40 or being single at 40, and her being essentially, I guess, content or comfortable with being single at 40. And this is who she is, unless is essentially her meeting a person who sees who has a sense of urgency. I don't recall if she used that word. That's the word I'm using. But I understood the message, right? The sentiment that she was attempting to convey here, which is essentially she needs to, if she was to meet someone who had a sense of urgency and who might obviously have the resources, um but yeah, a sense of urgency. Like, look, we dating for this long. If everything goes well, we're married in 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months, we're working on having this baby. We already know Ostefco, unfortunately can't have children. So yeah, we looking for a surrogate. In a year and a half, 2 years, we're having a child, right? We already got the house situation together. The finances are together, and I understand. I understand, especially as a woman in her 40s, who can't have children, or who would struggle to have children at best. Um, I understand, and I think I should have actually said this earlier. For those of you that wonder why Mr. Z continues to review Ostefco's content, and we've been doing this for a couple of years now, right? Actually, maybe more than a couple of years now. It's because of the candor. I'm not saying Ostefco's always honest. I don't know her in real life, right? I'm not saying any of that. What I will say is the candor, and there is a certain level of, even if she's lying about certain things, a certain level of honesty in the sentiment that you don't get from many women, particularly around her age. Um, Ostefco doesn't look like she's really big on the ego protection as much. Emphasis. There's an operative word in there. As much as some other women, particularly black women, right? So she'll say things and she'll admit to things um, that I think you may not get from other black women. You're looking at the Real Talk with Yannies. You're looking at the Chrissies. You may even be looking at the Kim Fosters, right? Ostepco will admit, like, let's not act like when we see black men with non-black women, it doesn't bother us. Let's stop being obtuse. Let's stop being obtuse about being comfortable being single and et cetera, et cetera. Things that we already know. Black women keep on lying to themselves and attempting to lie to us. Emphasis on the word attempting. But Ostefko will just come up the middle and say it. Right? Exactly, Terrell. As much. As much. Hysterical, right? So this is one of the reasons why I continue to speak on Ostefko and review Ostefko, because I think she's a bit more honest about what a lot of black women, and I think when you tie that, I think this is, I gotta say this, when you tie that to, once again, the Mouse Utopia Project, when you tie that to late stage capitalism, when you tie that to what we already know about young people and the lowering birth rate, the lowering marriage rate, right? Quite frankly, how many young people aren't having sex, particularly the young men? When you tie all of that, all of the stories we're hearing about people who are neurodivergent, people who have some type of, ADHD, these people are dating also, right? And people who are so extremely socially awkward women. I think Ostefco just fits perfectly in there. And not Life with Bree, the other one. What was the other Bree young lady that was kind of cute actually? But there's a number of these, and actually Ostefco mentioned her, funny enough. But there's a number of these women who I think, particularly obviously black women, who I think fit perfectly in what Z tends to review on his channel concerning black women. And the fact that these women, unlike Chrissy, unlike Real Talk with Yanni, are more honest, right? Like Mr. Z had to catch Chrissy slipping on a live that she was doing that, if I'm not mistaken, she ended up deleting, where she kind of lamented being in her luxury apartment by herself, right? And it was a blink and you'll miss it comment, and if you caught her tone, you could tell, oh, you lonely, right? But other than that, she attempts to be quote unquote stoic and keep a stiff upper lip, no pun intended on that one. And all, rail against black men all day and colorism all day, and how non-black men are going to treat you better all day, right? Same thing with Real Talk with Yanni, all the sass and the bravado, the black girl swag stuff, right? And I get attention, I get men. I would argue that the difference is Ostefko, something about her ego or her air quotes, humility causes her to be just a bit more honest, so that we can have a real conversation now. It's different. It's more difficult to have a real conversation with a Paris Milan, or with a Real Talk with Yanni, or with a Cynthia G, or with a Chrissy, with Alexis Exodus, with a Kim Foster, because some of them are calling themselves 7.2s. I know that's not what she really meant, but okay, right? So at least with Ostefko, you could actually, and the other young lady, I can't remember her name. Well, Life with Bree also, but it was another young lady too. But these content creators, it's easier to have a conversation, because at least concerning relationships and intimacy, right? You can actually start somewhere, because they're actually being just a bit more honest on the angle they're coming from and what's informing their attitude and their disposition and their outlook on relationships with black men, right? So with that, let's start off a bit towards the end of Ostefko's field piece here, um, which is, Dear Ostefko, black women have more children than black men. So Ostefko makes a comment essentially saying, especially after the age of 40, black men have more black children, or at least men have more children than women. Okay, maybe for non-black folks, right? But in the black community, black women have more children than black men. And I think this example that you gave here, and I want to kind of go into this space right now, is a perfect example of what's going on in the black community concerning the rhetoric towards black men. The rhetoric towards black men is very anti-black, but black male elders condone it, black women elders condone it, black LGBTQ condone it, black women obviously condone it. And so you have these ideas, these concepts, these what people consider common knowledge that's actually factually inaccurate and actually speak to the anti-blackness intra-racially in the black community concerning black men, right? So you have yeah, well, black men have more children than black women. Yeah, black women earn more than black men, right? Yeah, black men will choose any white woman, any heavy set, hefty, bare built white woman over the most attractive black woman ever. White men will choose black men will choose any white woman over any black woman, of course. All of these kind of anti-black tropes that people believe and people spout off that speak to people, I'm talking about within the black community, anti-blackness. Both, once again, black men, black women, black LGBTQ, maybe even black children. And it doesn't matter whether it's factually accurate or not. That's besides the point. We don't actually care whether it's factually accurate. This is what we say and do to remind ourselves that black men are less than black women. That black men are the burden in the black community. Black men are the anchor on black women's ankles. Black men, as the article said, are the weakest link. Right? Particularly young black men. Oh, there ain't nothing worse than a young black man. The bane of everyone's existence in the black community. A straight young black man, especially one of these that's not every waking moment telling us how black women are the best thing that ever happened in the universe. Oh, you're the worst thing that ever happened. So I'm saying this to you, Ostepco. You probably didn't mean it that way, but black women have more children than black men. Right? So the idea that, after 40, essentially in how you were saying, it's just common knowledge that men have more children than women. Yeah, maybe outside of the black community, but within the black community, absolutely not. Right? Not only do black not only do black women have more children than black women have more children out of wedlock than black men. Black women have less marriage rate than black men. And recall, Mr. Z was the one that keep on telling everyone that black men and black women are attached by the hip. So this is not really about the black women are doing so much worse than black men. Quite frankly, that's not how this works. If black women are doing so much worse than black men, obviously because black men are black, have to deal with that, have to eat that, right? So I just want to make sure that we get that point out the way first, right? So something, and this speaks to what Mr. Z was speaking of earlier, that I found interesting, and Ostepco said it. So this is for those of you who have been here for a while. You'll recall Mr. Z brings up Lonnie Love often, right? How Lonnie Love was pretending that Lonnie Love, yes, the sister off of The View, um, black woman off of the View, that had the twin on there, and Jenny Mai, etc., and the young lady from 3LW, etc., etc. Mr. Z would bring up Lonnie Love often to emphasize the point that Lonnie Love was one of those women, black women, who claimed to be so comfortable single, and she loved her peace, and she loved being single, and she loves not having to be obligated to anyone and not having to consider anyone. And then when she ended up with the white man, last time I checked, that she's currently still with, it feels so good to come home to somebody. It feels so good to have somebody pick you up from the airport and care about you. Translation, what is he saying? She was lying the whole time. She was coping and capping the entire time. That was her ego speaking the entire time. I can't let people know I am miserable being single. Well, thank you to Ostepco. Ostepco essentially says, and I'm, kind of using a few of my own words here, but that whole decenter men thing and work on yourself and fix yourself ideology is all a coping mechanism. Ostefco recounts going, I think she said from 26 to 29, because I think she did this before 26 years old, but I think she got into a little situationship. It didn't work out. So from 26 to 29, she was like, I was working on myself and I'm working on, and she said she had all of this energy, all of this quote unquote sexual energy, and she was about to burst. Her words. Huh? Her words. But we knew this already. Thank you, Ostefco, for giving up the ghost and saying it out loud. We know y'all lying. Dear black women, dear women writ large, we know you lying about being okay. Actually, not even being okay, being desirous, right? I love my peace. I'd rather this than be in a relationship with one of those toxic men. Translation, any man that's not in the top 20% toxic is a toxic man. Because how dare you have an opinion and think you're a man? You're not part of the elite. You better get over here and mop these floors and kiss my ass. I hear you, women. I hear you. I hear you. Right? Hysterical, Trail. I ain't even gonna read it out loud. Bro. So Ostefco admits this. That from and in a very tacit way, she admits that that's probably the case for the majority of. She's speaking about people. No, Ostefco, for the most part, and even Dr. Chris Marsh, that's a black woman, PhD, speaks on this, right? And so let me kind of deviate a little bit. Dr. Chris Marsh speaks about exactly the type of people you're speaking of, Ostefco, but more professional managerial class, doing really well. Black people who are single, who have no children, and pretty much see themselves as potentially, never having children and getting married. And the men gave it a certain age. The men had different numbers in their mind. If I get 50 and I'm not married and I don't have children, I'm not doing it. If I get to 45, if I get to 48, if I get to 52, I'm not doing it, point blank, period. The women, on the other hand, always held out hope. Once again, Ostefco, this is a black PhD woman speaking on this, wrote a book on this, right? Single by choice, if I'm not mistaken, was the theme of her book. Ostefco, this is tying to what you're saying. The men aren't pretending. I'm not saying the men aren't throwing their own version of a temper tantrum. I am saying, though, the difference is the men aren't doing the whole decenter women throwing a temper tantrum because they won't bow. No, the women are doing that. The men mean it, just like how self-deletion works. Women attempt self-deletion more, but men actually go through it, and that's why they have what, 3-4 times the rate of self-deletion as women. Yeah, because it's not a cry for help. We mean it. Life ain't going the way I want. Okay, get myself the hell up out of here. Yeah, the men mean it, Ostefco. Just like right here, the women are barking all of that. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, because they're throwing a temper tantrum because the men they want don't want them or won't bow. Right? Huh. So Ostepco says that admits that, and this is something that we know, and this is important to say because we see this all over social media. It's an interesting dichotomy to see, right? Especially those of you who have TikToks. Mr. Z still don't got a TikTok yet. I gotta do it. I know, I know. The interesting dichotomy between the women who say, "No, I'm good being single. I'd rather be single than be with these men," right? And you see it from white women, you see it from black women, you see it from Latinas, and you even see it from some Asian women. These men are toxic and da. Y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Regular streams. And we're back. Um, as Mrs. Z was saying, so the idea that, oh yeah, the dichotomy, and we're seeing this on social media. I would argue this exists in real life between the women who are crying in their cars, and even Kim Foster mentioned this, right? The single cat ladies who are crying in their cars, complaining that they don't have a man, and there's no good men, and et cetera, et cetera. Or they got stood up for the one zillionth time because y'all are all going after the same dude, by the way. Um, so there's that dichotomy: the women that are crying in their cars, they're single, they're miserable, et cetera, et cetera. And then the dichotomy between that and the women who say, "I'm good being single." Decent man. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. Isn't it an interesting dichotomy we have here? This kind of interesting juxtaposition. The women who are telling you the men aren't showing up at mixers and the men aren't showing up at speed dating events. Once again, white, black, Latina women, yes, even some Asians. The women who are saying that, and then the other women who are like, I don't care, right? Do better, level up. These men ain't nothing anyway. Yeah, that sounds nice, right? So it's an interesting juxtaposition. What I will give Ostefco once again is she admits a lot of this is capping from the women. Thank you, Ostefco, for being honest. We already knew. Shout out to black women with their hubris and their ego and their misplaced pride. Dear black women, you're not going to be able to wait out black men. You'll be able to outlive black men, but you're not going to be able to outweight black men. Side note, side note. You know, Mr. Z is not the most physically imposing person. I don't necessarily have the height um, or the physique. And being honest with myself about that is how I've been able to maneuver and not necessarily struggle too much in the dating scene. Y'all know Z's in a relationship. And being honest about your niche, the type of women who tend to find you attractive uh, or appealing or both. What you see with women, though, ooh, Z, in our case, particularly black women, is they can't admit that. So the lie is there is an escape hatch. And Osefo, if you still listening, this is when Mr. Z is about to sound a little bit sexist, so you might want to pause this part or skip over this part. How will you know when Mr. Z stops being this? You won't. Um, yeah, dear black women, I want to be very clear. You either get on black men's program or you experiment outside and have fun with what that looks like. Keep lying to yourself that you have other choices or options. Shout out to Only Logical. There's a divesting and swirling route. Almost all of y'all fell on that one. Shout out to all you aspiring swirlers and divestors. 0.5% of white men are married to black women. It ain't looking good. You could do the same-sex loving route. Yeah, right. That DV rate is astronomical for same-sex loving women, particularly same-sex loving black women. Oh, and by the way, one or both of you is probably going to cheat on the other one with a man. You could do the enthusiastically single Roy's toy route. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanny. What's the incentive? I want to be kept woman of leisure. Meanwhile, you're buzzing yourself to death. Huh? Fracking your clique to death. What? See, what about equality and egalitarianism? I mean, you sound like a sexist pig. Mr. Z doesn't believe that you believe that. There is no egalitarianism. Nice try, ladies. I still want him to be paymaster and protector. I'm not going downstairs and something go bump in the night. Yes, then that means you traded off your last word. If my life is on the line and I'm the primary financial provider, then guess what? I reserve last word right, period. Sorry, ladies, that's how it goes. Your opinions will be taken into consideration, but that does not mean that they will be adhered to. Huh? I had to bring that up, everyone, with this. And this concludes Mr. Z's sexist rant. No, I had to bring that up, everyone, because what we have here are people who are lying about their choices and options, lying to themselves and attempting to lie to others. While also pretending to be unbothered. Shout out to Amarion. Unbothered that all these NBA players, all these NFL draft picks, and all these NBA draft picks, and they showing up with these white girlfriends. Well, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so they're just gonna bleach themselves out of extinction. Heh. Dear ladies, you know how you show you're not bothered? You don't say anything. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And when you are asked your opinion, eh, all these fake ass unbothered black women. Shout out to Ostepco. At least she admitted it bothers her. Let's not be obtuse. Shout out to you, Ostefko. I agree. Dear black women, the first step in healing is to admit that black men are your best and usually only choice. And a few of you are going to have to double up. Ooh, Z, yeah, I said it. There's 2 million more of us, Z. There's two. What are we supposed to do? Double up. Uh-oh. I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. You can always try to date out. Let me know how that works for you. You can always do same sex. Let me know how that works for you when you come back with a black eye. Oh, Stefco, I'm saying this, being a bit facetious, just just a teeny tiny bit comedy here, just a smidge, just a little bit, to emphasize. And shout out to Only Logical. We see the divesting goes wrong. We know that's the story for most black women. Black women don't have a choice. Oh, Stefco, you, because of your age and because of your experiences, you appreciate that and understand that a bit more than all of these other a-hole black women out here. Just a smidge, just a little bit more, just a teeny tiny bit. Right? So now y'all understand why Mr. Z said what he said earlier. You have to appreciate where you fit. What we have is a whole bunch of mid the white womanhood believing ass, aspirational ass black women who are throwing adult temper tantrums that their degree and their status in the neighborhood they live in and the career field they're in and the money or that they earn in the corner office position or the middle management position or the professional managerial class position is not garnering them white female privilege. When y'all hear that, understand Mr. Z is saying upper middle class and above white women. right? Huh. That's why that's why I said the things I said, Ostefco. Just in case you listening, just in case, you never know, right? And quite frankly, ladies, if you have an idea of opulence and you're supposed to end up with the mega millionaire or the baller man, oh yeah, you doubling up, whether you know it or not. Ooh, 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 ooh. Whether you like it or not. Ooh, ooh. Yikes. Ouch. Huh? Continuing. Love is not a meritocracy. I actually agree with Ostefko on this. I actually really, really agree with Ostefko on this one. Love is not a meritocracy. I actually, and this is actually one of the major issues with letting economists define your relationships. This is one of the major issues. Shout out to Leisha Miller. When you have feminism plus capitalism, neoliberal capitalism, late stage capitalism, plus second wave, right, post second wave feminism, this is when you have the issue. People have really bought into love being a meritocracy. If I work on myself enough, if I have certain positions, if I'm educated enough, if I put myself in certain environments, then won't that guarantee me not just love, but a certain lifestyle, a certain type of partner to be in love with? Yes, Mr. Z said partner. That's on purpose. If I go to these schools, if I hang around with these people, right? If I follow this career path, if I move into this neighborhood, isn't that supposed to garner me a certain type of experience in dating, in marriage? No. Huh? Shout out to all of you that know that the young lady, Chocolate Sister. I think she went to Ivy League. She's making really good money. I think her name is Clark. And she made anti-black man comments without making anti-black man comments. Once again, y'all know. Shout out to all you black women that do this. Y'all couch your anti-black comments under classism. No, it's anti-black. I, I work so hard to put myself in these spaces in this environment, and I work so hard to put myself here, and I bust my butt to do this. And what do I look like? Shout out to you, Miss Wannabe White Woman. I see you. I hear you. Huh? It's not about race, ma'am. You live in America. Shout out to all the black people who say it's not about race. I know you know it's about race the second you say it's not about race. I said black women. Sorry, y'all. Pause. Anyone in America, the second they say it's not about race, it's about race. And St. Cyr says, yep, Clark. Yeah, I saw that clip of her. Ma'am, could you just admit now that you want to be socially and politically a white woman? And can we get on with our conversation, please? I put myself in this space and I work so hard. And I believe her. And I can appreciate, I can understand working so hard, going to certain schools, having to put up with racist ass jokes. And stop. Let's pause right here. Stop it with all the in the South around the ignorant rednecks. That's where the racism is. Because Aiko Lee already told us she was in an. Uh, Russell Simmons had them in some of the best schools, and Aiko Lee with a white boyfriend was still going through anti-black stuff in the elite school she was going to in New York. What that mean? Nothing. White dude in her school still calling her the N-word. What that mean? So once again, to all you women, black women, who are attempting to portray a certain class, you're performing white womanhood. You're trying so hard to perform elite white womanhood. I hear you. To the African Nigerian sister from a few months ago that we covered, I hear you. These black men don't think we're deserving. Yawn. All these people act like the white people they're around. Yeah, they're not. They're no. That's Uzi and other black men and other black people in the South or other black people in the Midwest that deal. We don't deal with that where I'm from. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? We know that you're lying because, ma'am, you are attempting. We're watching you perform rich white womanhood. We're watching you attempt to perform it. Huh? Tying all of that in. As Ostepco said, and I agree with her, love is not a meritocracy. You can be a well adjusted person, an intelligent person, a witty person, and your looks might be barring you. On the other hand, you can be a very physically attractive person, symmetrical features, etc., tall, white man, black man, could be a complete. All you need is good looks and a bit of money as a man, and you could be a complete a-hole, and the women will flock. They'll make up the excuse. You don't got to give them a reason. They'll make up the excuses in their mind why they like you. Huh? We've seen it. The women that like to wax poetic about what they're not going to do, what they're not going to settle for, how educated they are, how hard they worked, and then you see her walking out of your boss's office, button up the last two buttons of her shirt. Uh-oh. Huh? You see her walking out of the good-looking attorney's office, buttoning up the last two buttons of her shirt. Yikes. Huh? You let her talk long enough on a drunk night, and she tell you what coworker or what young man when she was in college that she did something with, and you're like, wait, him? I thought you said you don't like that type. No, she was telling you she didn't like that type, or she was telling herself she didn't like that type, but she thought that type wasn't interested in her. Coping mechanism. So Mr. Z agrees with Ostefko on love is not a meritocracy. It's not. It's not. Are there things you can do to mitigate for or against being in a relationship? Are there things you can do, things you can work on? Absolutely. For women, their weight, their physique, how agreeable they are, how kind they are. There are things. Is that going to guarantee you the type of man and lifestyle and marriage and relationship you want? No. None of this is a guarantee. I think men are easier to accept that than women. Right. So Mr. Z agrees with Ostefko on the love is not a meritocracy. I agree. Once again, Ostefko says, though, and I'm paraphrasing, the working on myself and focusing on my self language and turning inward. Ostefko says she was doing that in her 20s and she was not happy. And Trell, it's funny, but it's true. And Trell says absolutely no absolutes, but for real though, it's funny, but it's true. The one absolute is that there's no absolutes, right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. that's that's absolute. Talk about absolute. The absolute truth is that there's no absolutes, right? So Stefco tell you she was lying in her 20s, essentially, right? And we saw this. This is why Mr. Z brought up Lonnie Love earlier. We saw this with Lonnie Love. The working on your, it's a coping mechanism. working on yourself, turning inward, loving yourself. You saw this with the twin when her and Corey Hardrick broke up. You saw this with Ginny Mai with Jeezy when they got divorced or going through the divorce process. I'm gonna turn inward. I'm gonna work on myself. I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna work. Yawn. Huh? Now, Mr. Z has said this already. This is that 20% type talk. This is the talk of people that really don't have financial struggles, and so they do this whole like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Look, my money is straight. I don't want. That's not the real worry. So I can talk about being self-actualized. I can talk about these more not ephemeral. What's the word I'm looking for? Ethereal? No, it's not ethereal. What's the word I am looking for? I don't think I could get that word out right now. It's there, but it's not there. But working on the top part of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that self-actualization. Yeah, that's not where most people are or will ever be. Ooh, Z, goddamn, I said it. So when you hear that from me, I'm gonna work on me more. I'm gonna focus on myself. I'm gonna love on me. I'm gonna learn to love me. I'm gonna learn to love being single. You're not gonna learn to love being single. You're gonna pretend like you are content, right? You are going to pretend like you are okay. Huh? While you cry yourself to sleep at night, which, by the way, is another thing that Ostepco admitted in this conversation. Why is Mr. Z speaking about this with this type of framing? These are the people that you're coming in contact with. Remember, Ostepco was a teacher. Ostepco is who you were picking your child up from. And I'm not saying she bought any of that in the classroom, or better yet, bought any of that in the classroom. But these are the people you are coming in contact with. I've emphasized this well ad nauseum. From your bank teller to the young lady at the return line at Walmart, to your co-worker, etc., etc. Your co-worker, y'all went in as a group to happy hour, and she saying stuff. You're like, what the hell? Where is this coming from? The decenter men talk, all of it is cap and cope. Many of us have already suspected it, but Ostefko just admitted it to you, and she's not the only one, nor will she be the last one. Bree told you the same thing. Shout out to Life with Bree. And the age gap between Life with Bree and Ostefko is almost 20 years. And they both telling you the same thing. Huh? This, I'm gonna work on me, and I think it's time that I focus on what makes me happy, and huh? Better uses. You guys just need some personality, man. That fixes everything. Yeah, let Leisure Miller talk. Once again, got to give her a bit of grace here because she was specifically speaking about conservative men, but she wasn't only speaking about conservative men. And this is what I'm saying. Damn, Bear, you just made me go. I'm going off. I got to do it. I've got to do it. Once again, this is what I'm saying. Women like Leisure Miller doing way too much talking. I sit at Leisure Miller. Instead of being honest, to be honest with you, working class women, pretty much your men don't got the money and you don't want to marry them. The men of your class, the men of your similar income, they don't have the money and you don't want to marry them because they don't have the money. She can't do it. She can't say it. She can't. So what does she say? It's character flaw. These men lack personality, right? They haven't developed a personality. They're not likable. All of that sounds nice. Translation: we pole boss. The men that you would date that's similar to your class or income level just don't have enough for you to overlook their flaws. Ooh, and the men that I date and the men that I'm engaged to, they do earn enough for me to overlook their flaws, at least for 5 to 10 years. Huh? And better you says Lil Bill basically said the same thing in a community post. Of course. Look, same thing with FD. All I'm saying that I want to let me say this and shout out to you, better you, because you could be our class enemy. Trail could be our class enemy, and y'all are not. Shout out to you, Black Uru, our new style. A lot of y'all brothers could be our class enemy, and y'all are not. Shout out to y'all. The issue we have here is a lot of people that are working class, working poor, lower middle class people's class enemy, particularly black working class and working poor people's class enemy, are doing way too much talking. They tell y'all, don't focus on the money like that, like that, like that. It's the education. Yeah, that's it. It's the personality. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Especially the women. But Lil Bill is a feminist, so the married people in upper classes are telling you, well, we're married because well, my wife's educated, I'm educated. That's the reason. Yeah. No, it has nothing to do with capitalism, neoliberal capitalism plus feminism, and what that means for the way the women see relationships and marriage. Nope, it has nothing to do with that. Nope. It's that these uneducated men have character flaw. They're not marriage material. You mean they don't got the money? Nice fancy way for saying they don't have the money. Oh, and they're not white enough. Ooh, see, goddamn, see. They're not white and they don't have the money. Why couldn't you just say that? No, the problem with these men is they don't take education seriously and character flaw, and they haven't worked on themselves and they don't want to go see therapists and they don't want to self-actualize and they're not attending college and so you're saying they're not white enough, they don't have the status, and they don't have the money. Why couldn't you just say those 3 words: status, white, money? We live in a neoliberal capitalist society that's been feminized. So it's about the money, the status, and the skin color. Why is that so hard to say out loud? No. It's that you haven't self-actualized, and you're not educated, and you don't have liberal values and money, race, and status, ma'am. You could have just said it, right? Exactly, Mr. Donnie Mac. White adjacent. It's fascinating listening to what's her name, Joyanne Reed, say these white adjacent men as a pejorative, and then listening to other black women describe the men black men that they find attractive, and it's white adjacent black men. Yeah, I want a man that's white collar and has status like this and went to these type of schools and conducts himself like this. And essentially, it's funny because they're describing Carlton Banks. I thought that's not what y'all wanted until y'all want him. No, that's not what y'all want until y'all want him. White adjacent. Anyway, so no, I'm glad that better you kind of instigated that caveat because it's important. The fact that Little Bill said it, these people are black people's class enemy. Yeah, I said it, Little Bill. And so instead of being honest, listen, and as a matter of fact, I gotta give Kim Foster this. She kind of said it, kind of. Now she was being, she was kind of making fun of black men here. Look, y'all can't perform white masculinity and white manhood, so y'all might as well just give all of that up, and bow down and kiss our ass. Kiss black women's ass. She kind of said it. But these other people, the Little Bills and the Leisure Millers of the world, they won't be honest about it. Look, for all of you working class and working poor, lower middle class men, y'all can't perform upper middle class and above professional managerial class with liberal values, white manhood. They can't come up the middle and say that. They definitely not going to tell the women Look, man, we're hoarding all the wealth and opportunities and dreams and aspirations up here. So you're probably not going to get married because, quite frankly, you don't want to, because you want the same men that we want, and we have them. So we're not going to give them up. So the most my husband will do is cheat on me with you, but he ain't going nowhere. More than likely, huh? I'm gonna go check out that post that you spoke of, Betty. I'm gonna go check his community tab. I'm not surprised. All of these people they're saying the same thing. They're too cowardly. I said it. FD signifier, foreign man in the foreign land, Lil Bill, Leisure Miller, name them. All of them are way too cowardly to admit, hey man, look, Richard Reeve was right. It's us in the top 20%. We're hoarding all the wealth, all the opportunities, including marriage. And instead of us being honest about that, we're just not going to be honest. We're just going to tell you, dear women, the issue with those men in the bottom 80% and the bottom 75% is the character flaw. Yeah, they like personality. Yeah. And they don't want to help around the house. Yeah, they're not egalitarian enough. Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, that's it. Huh? It has nothing to do with your concepts of patriarchy by feminist specifications. It has nothing to do with your concepts of what a man is, right? Provide, protect, and shut up. No, it has nothing to do with that, women. No, the issue is that these men they're not egalitarian enough. Yeah, that's it. Shout out to all of you working class, working poor, lower middle class women who listen to women like Leisure Miller, right? And Kim Foster. Huh? Shout out to all of you. Amanda Marianne, Madison Brown. These women lying to your face. Then they turn around and get married on your ass. Leave you out here in the lurch, and their excuse to you is, well, my husband is liberal, and he's progressive, and he's egalitarian, and he washes dishes, and you check how much her husband make, even if it's less than her. I bet you he make more. I bet you he makes within the top 20 to 15% of incomes in America. I put money on it, if not the top 5. I guarantee you he's in the top 20%. I put money, but they're not gonna. That part doesn't matter. It's not the money and the status. No. Is that he checked off all these other boxes? Yeah, okay. Huh. Exactly. And Sahel says, meanwhile, TikTok is flooded. Where are the men at videos? The men are under your nose, ladies. The men are right in front of you, ladies. But you're looking right past them because you want the same elite men, maybe not looks wise, that Leisure Miller has. But she's too busy telling you the reason why you're not with the men that's right in front of you is because those men are too conservative, right? Have archaic relationship concepts. They don't want to be partners. We don't want to be partners. You're right. That one, you're right, Leisure Miller. We want wives. We don't want partners. You're absolutely right about that one. That one I got to give you. Now, will you ask why and not sound like a sexist misandrist? Absolutely not. A little snarky ass white woman? Man, I'm telling you, America produces Leisure Millers by the boatloads. These little snarky, liberal feminists who lie to other women to their faces about why they're married. Oh, my man, you know he's liberal and he has a personality because he thinks like me. He's pretending, man. Don't worry, you'll realize it right before divorce. And Leisure Miller said it too. She was like, and not only that, but these men they're less likely to be divorced. And da. Yeah, who files for and she mentioned who files for divorce, ma'am? Women by 70 to 80%. Ma'am, it's not because of infidelity. It's his irreconcilable differences. It's usually the money. Not because he's not kind, not because he's not helping around in the house, not because he's too patriarchal. It's usually the money. You know, the part of the conversation you didn't want to have? Coward. Oh, thank you, Better You. And Better You says he just emailed it to me. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Talk amongst yourselves. Mr. Z will be right back. Hey, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Shout out to Better You. Better You, you gotta love it. He keeps on emphasizing most men are boring AF. Most men are boring AF. They, well, once again, the lack, bro, Little Bill, this is a real question. This is a somebody tag Lil Bill in this. Lil Bill, this is a real question. If men are boring as hell, what are women? If men are boring as hell, what are women? If black men are boring as hell, what are black women? Huh? If men are boring as hell, once again, the majority of your business owners, I'm talking about black men in particular in this case, the majority of your business owners, the majority of your inventors, the majority of your scientists, if men are boring as hell, forget, oh, well, black women are more college educated. In what degrees? If men are boring as hell, men are not the ones talking about real housewives of such and such. Yeah, but y'all just watch football. If men are boring as hell, then what are women? Man, y'all like doing this whole punching up to black men, right? Punching down. Huh? Now, it would have been a different conversation if Lil Bill said the average person is boring and it doesn't have any real interest worth a damn, doesn't have any real hobbies worth a damn. No, no, no. Men are boring AF. So let me get this right. Boring ass men are in the dating market. They're not in the dating market, but fine. They're in the dating market with extremely interesting and complex and right divergent women who think about all these things and feel so much and they have so many different interests, right? And they're so entertaining and charismatic and yeah, that's it. Boring ass black men are dating these super interesting and funny and witty and smart and charismatic women. Not these women who live on their cell phones. Not these women who take a picture of the food before she starts eating it. Not a woman who's seeing the world through her phone. Not these same women who killed the club talking about what happened to the club. What happened to nightlife? Yeah, men are boring AF. That's why the women are complaining that these brothers are not going out on dates because they're boring. Yeah, that's it. Men are boring. Okay. All right. So let me get this right. Men are the weakest link. Once again, black men are the weakest link, right? Black men are the weakest link. Black men are the white supremacists of the black community. Black men are boring, right? This is all the stuff that we've heard um, on the internet, on different articles and editorials, posts like this. Black men can't even die right, right? Oh yeah, y'all thought Mr. Z forgot about that one? No, Mr. Z did not forget about that one. So black men can't die right. Black men are the weakest link. Black men are the white supremacists of the black community. According to Kim Foster, black men, particularly in the black manosphere, are useless, right? Huh? Black men, right? Okay. And then you wonder why your sons are considering voting for Donald Trump out of spite. Keep playing with it. Keep playing with it. All right, Lil Bill, keep playing with it. All right, foreign man in a foreign land. All right, FD signifier. Y'all scaring the hoes. Nah, Negro, y'all scaring the hoes. Hmm? And Kim Foster has the unmitigated goal to talk about us being antagonistic. Okay. Huh? We're antagonistic, but yet Lil Bill is saying we're boring AF because the women are so interesting and entertaining, right? Yeah, that's it. Better you said they scaring the bros, right? Oh yeah, Dusty Hotel, you're right. We're bullet bags according to what's her name, Keating Jean, Keating Jade, right? And Ole has her on the channel like she ain't say that. Ole has Keating Jade on the channel like Keating Jade ain't called black men bullet bags. And try to justify it because supposedly some brothers were coming for her boyfriend or whatever dude she was doing whatever with, and so that's okay to call. Listen, black women could say whatever about Mr. Z. Mr. Z is not going to call black women no welfare queens or no bullet bags or no whatever the hell you want to call them, whatever pejorative. Oh wait, I forgot. That's because Z got disciplined, and because Z doesn't actually think that at his core. So it doesn't matter what any individual black woman says or what black women say writ large or how black women might come at Z online. Mr. Z is not going to say that because he doesn't feel it or believe it. And it doesn't matter what a black woman says or does. It doesn't matter how angry a black woman or black women say or do things. What Mr. Z is not going to say is because he doesn't believe the things that Mr. Z won't say is because he doesn't believe them. Yeah. Shout out to you, King Jade. You said what you meant. Huh? Bullet bags, right? All right. Why are so many black men voting for Trump? These men want to attend college and university so we can be in class next to Keating Jade and next to Kim Foster. Yeah, that's it. Next to Ebony K. Williams. Okay, yeah, that's it. Next to FD Signifier, Lil Bill. Okay. Shout out to FD Signifier. I worked around it. Listen, Themis, I worked around them. I made them obsolete. No, you didn't, bro. Because you don't know what your mission is. Your mission was to get black men to marry women like Keating Jade and Kim Foster. That's your mission. You think your mission is to get black men to shut up, not be antagonistic. No, there's another part of that. And to marry a-hole, mean, condescending, rude, snarky, entitled brats. Provide for them and shut up. Once again, protect, provide, and shut up. And if you can't do that, your 800 plus thousand subscribers don't mean anything. Dear FD Signifier, you're going to fail on your mission because you don't even appreciate what your mission is. Right? Huh. Trail said Mission Impossible. Right? That's an impossible mission. That is it. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Oh, and give me 1 second, y'all. What was the? And I won't say your last name, but Mr. Brandon, thank you for the cash app. Thank you for the cash app. Right. Shout out to all of these brothers on the left, the foreign man in the foreign land, calling black men nig cells, calling black men in the black manosphere nig cells. All that sound nice. Hey, if we're foreign men in the foreign land, if black men are not marrying black women, I've seen that wealth rate. Black women have 8 cents to white men's dollar. Once again, what does the article say? Single black and single Latina women, namely single black women have the least amount of wealth in America. Single childless black women have the least amount of wealth in America. Shout out to you, Leisure Miller. I don't know about white women. White women could be doing okay without white men, but black women literally need black men. Did you hear that, Kim Foster? Huh? So shout out to FD who said, yeah, the women might do the rose thing. Yeah, and be broke as hell. The sisterhood ain't gonna look out for her like that, like that, like that. Huh? That's why I keep on saying these outliers are doing way too much talking because they're lying. These leftist outliers are doing way too much talking. Kim Foster would be okay financially if she's single. Real talk with Yanny is okay financially even though she's single. Chrissy is okay financially even though she's single. Right? The vast majority of black women are not, nor will they ever be. And that's why y'all keep on selling them on, well, it's not the money, it's not your concepts of lifestyle, the money, no, it's the character flaw in the men. The men have a developed personality. It's not that, look, yeah. So men like my husband have hoarded all the resources, all the dreams, all the aspirations, and so did I. The professional managerial class is trying to lock the door behind them. So we're the ones who's going to get married. We're the ones who's going to have children in nuclear family. We're the ones who's going to live in the suburbs with the white picket fence. We're the ones who's going to travel and in and out the country and have all of these great experiences. We're the ones who's going to do that. All the rest of you are going to live vicariously through us. I'm talking about the women. But we won't tell you that. What we're gonna tell you is no. The issue is the character flaw. They like personality. They haven't developed personality. They don't want to go seek therapy. They don't want to work on themselves, and they don't want to be self-actualized. They're misogynistic. They're sexist. Huh? Once again, defang the men and don't say anything to the women about the fact that you defang the men. Once again, like the bottom 80, 75% of men, defang the men. Don't say anything to the women. Let the women scream at the top of their lungs about how they don't like this dating scene. They're not going to get married because they're throwing a temper tantrum. And never tell them, oh, by the way, that's kind of what came with egalitarianism, is that we closed the wealth gap and the income gap between men and women. And so now y'all got to go 50-50. Us women up here in the top 20%, some of us are going to go 50-50, but most of us are just going to still end up with men that earn even more than us. But for our men to earn even more than us, we had to take from your man. So now, enjoy the 50-50 relationship thing. Oh, you're not going to like that? Okay. So I'm just not going to tell you then. Huh? For Little Bill to say most black men are or most men are boring AF. Once again, if he's talking about men in general, can't say, but to say that about black men, uh, notice what they, and this is, we say this before, right? When it comes to negatives and pejoratives, we say black men, huh? We single out black men. Not most people are boring AF. Not most black people are boring AF. No, men are boring AF. Black men are boring AF. Right? Huh? Yeah. And somebody says the same way you engage women is the same way they engage you. If you are operating under some disingenuous pretense, you can't be mad when the script gets flipped by the better practitioner. Also, folks really need to invest in being more friendly than transactional with women. It's not the women that are transactional with men. It's not the women that see you as a walking ATM machine. It's not the women that see you as a walking wallet. It's you who's transactional, man. You. You imagine, bro, if this not 1984? Double speak? Wait a minute. So, y'all, let me get this right, left. Y'all will admit that we live in a patriarchal society. Okay, cool. But you'll never, ever, ever admit what that means for how the women see you before they even literally see you. No, it's not that the women were raised to see you as a walking ATM machine. It's that you are the transactional one. Whew. I want y'all to understand they're lying to your face right now in the 21st century with social media, with women literally telling you, hey, if I earn more than him, I will mistreat him. No, sorry, belittle him. If I earn more than him, I will belittle him. We got video footage. You can see the lady's face in her saying that. You have another video footage of a black woman literally saying, "What happened to the days when men would protect, provide, and shut up?" Literally, you have other video footage of the young lady at that where's that, Chicago? Shout out to who sent it to me, who literally said, "Yeah, I need a Negro that do that. That if I need 50 grand, I need him to give me the 50 grand right now. I don't need no 9 to 5 man." You have the video footage of women being asked those man on the street interviews. Would you rather take the 9 to 5 guy or what they said the scammer, the perked out scammer, and how many women said I'd rather take the perk head scammer. And I want you to understand, whoever this is, I'm not going to say his name, or whoever posted this comment in Little Bill's comment section, told you you're the transactional one, man. You are, not the women. You. Once again, also, folks really need to invest in being more friendly than transactional with women. I can assure you that you'll catch more ladies that way than the other way around. Also, you'll avoid more disasters by peeping unsavory behaviors that people tend to hide when they're courting in the courting mode. Look, instead of him saying women, the way women act, trying to be transactional, he didn't say that. This is so liberal. Ooh, this is scary liberal. Instead of saying, okay, fine, if you're less transactional with women, you'll peep the ones that trying to be transactional with you. Instead of him saying that, he doesn't say the women that are trying to be transactional with you. He says the unsavory people. We can't say women. When we're saying, hey, yeah, the women might have this tendency, we say people. Oh my God. So the men looking at women transactional, we make sure to say men looking at women transactional. The women who are looking at men transactional, we say people being unsavory. Oh my God. In your face, everyone. In your face. In your face. A double speak. And they, by the way, remember, first, as Leisure Miller said, we lack personality, right? And we're not likable. So let's get that out the way. Secondly, when people refer to 1984 in this conspiracy type talk, in this double speak, we're conspiracy theorists. Remember, We're literally seeing this person say this right now, and that person has 288 likes on that comment. The first comment says, very true. I had a friend who complained always met gold diggers, but he's the kind of guy who leads with his wallet. If you know what I mean. He's putting out the bait and complaining when women take the bait. No, so in other words, it's not that she's a bad person. Listen, man, Mr. Z can see. Okay, fine. Let's talk predator talk. Mr. Z can see a 16-year-old cute sister walking around here butt booty naked. Oh, but she was walking around with the bait. I mean, look, she had all her goods out. I couldn't help myself. Mr. Z would be put under the jail. Mr. Z would be put under the jail. But when it comes to women, oh, no, you're walking around showing off your wares. You're showing off your money and your status. How could she? She can't help herself but to take advantage of you. Huh? She can't help herself. It's not that she's transactional. It's not that she just sees the money and the status. She can't help herself. Don't you know? She can. Now, if it's men the other way around. So let me get this right. Cam Newton, Nick Cannon got women throwing themselves at them. Women that are very willing to become baby mama number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13. But Cam Newton's taking advantage of these women. Okay, fine. Fine. Not fine, but fine. But then when we're speaking about men who look like money, oh, but you're leading with your wallet, and she can't help but take advantage of that. And it's not that she's a gold digger; it's you, man. These people would tie themselves into knots, into pretzels, because the lens at which they look through the world at is the very feminist lens that says women are never, ever, 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 ever wrong, ever in relationship to men. Women are never wrong. Women are infallible in relationship to men. Black women in specific are infallible in relationship to black men in specific. Hey, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Right? You gotta love it. Here go another comment. It's always coming down to some random dude in the replies talking about respectability, politics, or work ethic, when ultimately he doesn't have the self-respect to work on himself. What did I tell y'all? This weirdo elite talk about, no, isn't the real issue that you didn't work on yourself? You're not self-actualized enough. You haven't done the internal work. Oh man, these people are so, it's scarily predictable. Y'all gives you 1 second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. Wow. Why did you send me this, better you? Now I'm reading through the comments and it's just, it's insane. Here go another one, and so I'm gonna use the word, or I'll spell it out. I'll spell it out when I get to it. Why won't women date me? Question mark. Loud INCEL. Maybe try changing those toxic traits you have. Men in relationships. Why would I want to do that? Loud INCEL. Once again, hey man, you know you live in a topsy-turvy world. It's never the money and the status and the education. It's never women's sexism. It's never women's concept of patriarchy. Absolutely not. Nope, 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 nope. It's never the women throwing a temper tantrum and saying, I didn't go to all, I didn't, and even though Ebony K. Williams literally said it, but fine. It's never the women throwing a temper tantrum and say, I didn't go to school and work my butt off not to have a baller man. Nope, it's never that. It's always, well, are you sure it's not human? Like your patriarchal, toxic, sexist, misogynistic insecure concepts of women? Are you sure it's not you? Like, work on you. Thank you, LAR. LAR says internal workers are going to be starving soon. Man, LAR, I got it. First, as a junior to your senior. Secondly, as a fellow content creator, I'm gonna ask you. Ooh, yeah, LAR. Yes, I'm asking a favor. I'm gonna ask you to review this. I'm perfectly okay with you doing a part two to my part one. The link is in the description for the video. Well, actually, no, I don't want you to do that one. I want you to do the Leisure Miller one. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. The Leisure Miller. I'll send it to you. The one where she speaks about conservative men are ruining marriage. Right. If you want, you can look it up for yourself. Leisure Miller. LeeJarMiller. And it's the one where JD Vance is part of the thumbnail. Yeah, because I want to hear your particular take. Yes, Mr. ZB asking favors online straight up. Right in the middle of live. Don't worry, I did it to Raj too. And BGS. Right. Yeah. But yeah, exactly what LAR said. But they can't help. That's the only language they have. They can't say that the women are transactional. They can't say that the women want the status and the money. First, let's say that again. First, they'll take the egalitarian guy that comes home and washes dishes and mops the floor too. But first is the money. Let me say that again. First is the money. First. And I'm not saying, I'm once again, because just in case they ever listen to this, what Z is not saying is that the men are insecure. I'm saying the women are saying economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage. That's what the women are saying. But Leisure Miller says, no, 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 no. Conservative men are destroying marriage. Yawn. Huh? Huh? Ooh, flow easy. I gotta say the name on this person. This person says, I'll be honest. One of the biggest reasons I think some men are single is a nice portion of them are not likable people. Some dudes think that being bad boys or having adjacent traits will get them girls. Be yourself sounds corny and cliche as hell, but it's genuine advice. I think and mind you, this comment has 248 likes. Let's continue. Um, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second because I pressed the button and it went off. Yeah. Be yourself sounds like corny and cliche as hell, but it's genuine advice. I think some guys get confused into thinking that they're entitled to cat because they're accomplishing or doing something when that isn't the case. Self-report here. Oh God, I'm not even gonna read your self-report. I'm not even gonna do the anecdotal stuff with you. I'm not even gonna do the anecdotal stuff. Once again, not likable. Not likable. It's not that the women see you as a walking ATM machine. It's that you're not likable. I want you to understand. This is the leftist critique of men writ large that are in the bottom 75, 80%. Huh? The issue has nothing to do with money, status, education. It has nothing to do with how the women view these things. Nope, not at all. It's that you're not likable. It's not even once again, the framing is women no longer need men for finances, which, by the way, especially if you're not a white woman, if you're Latina or black, literally that's factually inaccurate. Literally that's factually inaccurate. But okay, fine. For argument's sake, women no longer need money. Excuse me, they do need money. Women no longer need women for Z. Could you get it out? I'm too excited. That's the problem. Women no longer need men for money. There we go. Women no longer need men for money, so now men have to be likable. Right? Women no longer need men for money, so now men have to be likable. And men are just not likable. And men don't know how to talk to women if they don't lead first with their wallets. It's fascinating hearing these comments or reading these comments because they can't help but regurgitate radical feminist talk. Men lack personality. Men are not likable. Wow. Huh? Wow. Next, here go comment. I'm just gonna read the beginning, so you know. Gonna throw my hat in the ring here as a trans guy. Okay, I'm done. That's the end of that comment. Next, facts. I'm the same type of ish when a dude complains about the draft in a conversation about women as women created the draft, and not other men. And, oh God. So once again, regular men are being told to shut up because it was one of you, even though it was elite men, it was one of you that instituted the draft. Let's draft women then. Mr. C's all about saying let's draft women. I don't know what these people talking about, right? Here go another one. Of course it's a woman. Bill, you're doing the Lord's work. Oh boy. Of course it's a woman who said, Bill, you're doing the Lord's work. What did FD Signify tell Olay? And what did Olay admit to herself? Um, um, FD Signifier told Olay, yeah, you know, I have a lot of homegirls, and they tell me when I put out my think pieces, they send it to their boyfriends and say, watch this. Olay said, yeah, I'd always send it to my boyfriend and say, watch this. This is women doing that weirdo thing where they think, well, look, another straight man. We're gonna leave that alone. Another straight man said the thing that I'm saying. So doesn't that make it right now? Isn't it right now that FD Signifier, he's a black man with dreads and a beard? Right? He's a straight black man with dreads and a beard, and he has a wife and kids. He has 2 boys. So now that he's saying the same thing I'm saying, isn't it right now? Isn't it true? Dear women, black women in particular, your sons are going to make you feel this. I just want you to understand. Your sons are going to make you feel this when they pop up to the family event holding the Latina girl's hand. Dear all you young black women, when your cousins pop up holding that white girl's hand, the blonde, blue-eyed, the brunette, green-eyed white girl's hand, don't say anything because this is you. Huh? All you LGBTQ brothers, when your straight brother pops up at the family event holding the Asian girl's hand, don't say anything. Because this is you. So you would rather be with the Latina or the Asian girl or the white girl than have me call you sexist in a relationship all day, every day? Yes. Absolutely. Huh? Why can't you just let me call you a sexist pig in peace? Huh? Why can't I make fun of you and your patriarchal aspirations? Passport OG says, as a white male adjacent black man, you hear me? Right? Man. Wow. You just keep on reading through the comments and it's just comment after comment, right? Wow. Here goes some weirdo. If men are socialized to be lames, then how do we break the cycle? Especially since the system is so omnipresent. It seems like an uphill battle. Let me see what Lil Bill said. Break out of it. Learn yourself outside of your desire for companionship, or more accurately, your desire for desirability. If that makes sense. Half the time, I found we don't even want to girl. Well, I don't understand what he's saying. I found that we don't want to grow. We don't want to grow. I think he wanted to say we just want the validation of knowing we can get her. Or we don't want the girl. We just want the validation of knowing we can get her. It's cliche, but really, the less you pursue companionship, the more likely you'll get some play. Okay. What this reminds me of is the clip from Barbie at the end when Barbie pretty much tells Ken, "Go do your own thing." I want to be very clear what Mr. Z is saying. To all you upper elite educated brothers and sisters, this is some nasty, shout out to Accountable Commentary, this is some nasty work y'all are engaging in. This is some really nasty work y'all engaging in here. Instead of being honest and saying, hey man, the capitalist and feminist system priced y'all out of marriage and companionship and relationship, instead of y'all being honest, y'all saying, y'all are finding real interesting ways of telling people just be comfortable being single because y'all ain't gonna get married, y'all not gonna have children, and y'all probably won't even be having sex and being companionships and quote unquote situationships. Instead of you being honest and let's go full doomer with it, if y'all want to go doomer, Mr. Zeal go doomer, instead of y'all being honest about the environment and what it's producing, Mouse Utopia Project, instead of y'all being honest about it, What y'all are saying is, nah, you know what? Don't even pursue girls like that because you don't even really want her. You like the idea of her wanting you. You don't even really want her. That's your real issue. Work on you. I know it sounds cliche, but self-actualize first. Become perfect first. Wait a minute. Our parents in the system already raised us that way. That's why the marriage rate is so goddamn low. That's why the birth rate is so low. We were already raised to self-actualize and become perfect first. That marriage was was at the finish line of adulting. Our parents were raised that you walked into adulthood with marriage and kids in tow, and then you adulted while in marriage. And we were raised, no, adulting is at the finish line of marriage. And look at what it's done to the marriage rate and the birth rate. Uh-oh. Look at who's getting married. You know, people like you, Lil Bill. People like Leisure Miller. People like FD Signifier. But instead of y'all being honest about that dynamic, what you're actually saying is, no, we're going to double and triple down on that idea, even though it's failing. Right? Huh? Even though it's failing. And here you guys go. Better you put the link to the comments here if y'all want to torture yourselves with Lil Bill's comments or the comment section. All right? Wow. Huh? Wow. And here go a comment. And this comment says, I've seen some TikTok suggesting that patriarchy doesn't encourage men to develop their own sense of self, riz, etc. It just encourages cosplaying that at best to get women. And then some men just suck the energy riz out of the women they sleep with. Oh boy. Then on to the next, looking for another home. In some sense, in someone else, more energy. Okay. You mean the elite men? Most men ain't getting sex like that. What are y'all talking about? Right? Wow, man. Wow. Here go another one. See, once again, and this is everything, Mister. God damn it, went away. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. I gotta read it before it go. Here we go. We've really got to learn to be happy by ourselves as men. I know it sounds Disneyland, but you can't really care about yourself. Excuse me. You can't really care about someone if you don't give a ish about yourself for your own sake, father and husband. But it's important to make time for yourself, even if it's here and there. Once again, y'all, they don't have answers. Their answers are things they think that worked for them, they think is going to work for everyone else. Once again, this you got to self-actualize first. You got to be good with yourself first. Even Life with Bree said, "Yo, this is BS talk." Even Ostefco said she was doing this and she was dying inside. But these weirdos keep pushing this crap. No, you got to be good with you first. Self-actualize first. Yo, people been self-actualizing for 10 years, bro. Single as hell, miserable, pretending like they okay. Fake ass smile at work. And a few women actually got the ovaries to say it. But they're gonna push that on men now. Okay, yeah, that's it. Like I said, this is like the end of the Barbie movie. Go find yourself first. Go make you happy first. Don't worry about me. And this is elite saying, "Hey, men and women, okay, look, we don't price y'all out of marriage and we locked the door. So we're gonna get married and have kids and nuclear family. But if you do it, it's patriarchal and sexist. And why can't you experiment? And most of you aren't gonna like this dynamic. So just be good being single, though. Just yeah, do that. Because the reason why you're not getting married and having children, once again, in nuclear family, Has nothing to do with money and status. Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with race. Has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with status. None of that. None of that. Right. So work on you. Okay. Yeah. Huh? This this is some weirdo white feminist language, and watching and reading black people regurgitate this. Black women and black women men is enraging. Clearly, I can hear the rage in Mr. Z's voice. Shout out to Khadijah. Are you saying you're emotional, Z? Yes. Yes. Huh? And that's all they're doing, Vince. And Vince says, you're born who you are. I can understand improving, but for real, they're telling us to chase clouds. I want to tie this right back to the subject at hand. Ostepco said it in her think piece, feel piece. She was doing all that, working on herself, building herself, but in the back of her mind was still the idea, I'm doing this so I can, when I get on the other side of this, so I can get a man worth a damn. She said she was crying essentially she was crying herself to sleep at night. That's the same thing Laura told y'all on Shay Sade's channel. Laura's a white woman. Shay Sade pretty much agreed with her. Shay Sade's a black woman. These people are lying to us to our faces and selling us, as Vincent, telling us to chase clouds because they can't be honest. Look, I'm part of professional managerial class. I was probably always going to get married and have children, or at least get married, have children in nuclear family. Maybe I get divorced, maybe I don't, but my divorce rate and the likeliness of me getting divorced is less, right? Instead of them having a real conversation about their class and education position and how that gives them a unique ability that the majority of us won't have, they're telling you, no, 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 no. The issue is y'all haven't self-actualized, and the men are not likable, right? Wow. And so y'all talk amongst yourselves, gives you a second. Reckless streams, y'all gives you about a couple minutes. Gotta do something real quick. So like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All right, y'all. And y'all go through the comments. Better you put the comments here. Y'all go through the comments so y'all can be enraged like Z, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All right, y'all. And we're back, right? And Leon says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Leon says, die inside, self-actualize, and reincarnate to become a rich single auntie. Most will never truly self-actualize. They are not white men. They are black women's, right? Yeah, no, I know that, and I appreciate that, and I agree with you, by the way. But this is the language of like elite white women. Like, I recall what Dr. Green Gorilla has said to us, what Dr. Tia Johnson has said to us, what Dr. Tommy Curry has said. This is why I'm I'm disappointed in black women for adopting this, right? But I'm not necessarily as angry with them as I could be. But this is elite white women talk. This is elite white feminist talk. It sounds good. Unfortunately for black women, they're black women. And unfortunately for black male feminists, you're black men. This sound good, right? This sound nice and flowery. And that's why so many of them, if you see, right, in the beginning of their statement, they'll say, I know this sounds cliche. I know this sounds Disney. Yeah, because you know it sounds like a bunch of BS, and it is. Huh? And it is. Right? They're all prefacing their statement by saying, you know, I know this sounds Disney-esque, Disneyland. I know it sounds Disney, but maybe we need to self-actualize first. The people at the finish line of adulting in long-term relationships that look like it's going to be marriage or that are married, it's easy for you to say that. And you're talking to someone who's pretty much just about there right now himself. It's easy for you to say that. The masses of people are not getting married and not having children, and they're not comfortable with it. They're not. And they're never going to be. So y'all are giving them coping mechanism talk. Shout out to Ostepco. At least she said it. Y'all are giving them coping mechanism talk. But the real issue with the men, the real issue why you're not comfortable being single. This is their way of telling men you're not comfortable being single. You don't really like that girl. You like the idea that she might like you. What? Huh? Wow. Right? Wow. So this self-actualization language, that crap is for the birds. Mr. Z's not actually against self-actualizing. It's just a bunch of crap. The way people are using this language, the way the internet, the way the left is using this language is a bunch of coping mechanism crap for single people being single. And the right has its own version of it. Sounds a lot like this, quite frankly. This is coping mechanism talk. This is some real, and from Africa Cape says, Z, you would do well to look into Dr. Myron Gilmore work. Okay, I will. Right? Huh. Oh, well, I already said that myself. And from Africa Came says, he argues black women have been turned into counterinsurgents against black men. Hey, low key, I'm not going to put words in FD signifier's mouth. What I will say is, if you pay attention to the second conversation we had, and I spoke about he brought up college and university, and I kind of I knew where he was going. I said, yeah, it's a colonizing institution. It's a colonizing institute. And he said, yeah, and so many of the people that he's working with on the left, they're grappling with that. Wait a minute, isn't black women's one of their bragging points is how many of them are attending college compared to men? compared to black men? Isn't one of their talking points is that they're the most college educated group of people in America? Now we know otherwise. We know what it really says, but fine, let's go with it. Argument's sake, fine. You're the most college educated or college enrolled group of people in America. Now, if university and college, white, even the HBCUs, I said it, white college and university, PWIs, predominantly white institutions, once again, even the HBCUs are colonizing agents, and women, particularly black women, attend college and university more than their male counterparts, than black men, then what are we saying? Huh? Black women, do you appreciate what you just said? If it's a colonizing institution, white colonizing institution, you know, Mr. Z's been saying this for the longest, by the way. And women are bragging about how many of them are going to college and university compared to their male counterparts, particularly black women, bragging about how many of them attending college and university and graduating college and university compared to their black male counterparts. What are you saying without saying it? Then you wonder why you come back to the black community and sound like Ebony K. Williams and call black men mediocre. You wonder why I can't, ooh, blue collar on my hands. Ooh, I can't do that. Ooh, ew. Like Kim Foster. Huh? Then you wonder why you sound like Clark. I worked so hard to put myself in this position. What do I look like? Settling. What do I look like reaching down? Huh? Then you wonder why you sound like that. You wonder why you understand Chrissy's degree is in marketing. You wonder why you sound like Chrissy. Huh? When she was going off, seeing the little white girl with her white mother in that big ass dollhouse. And she lost it for a minute. If they can have it, why can't we have it? F that, black men, F that. Yeah, of course. You wonder why. Cynthia G is over here talking about deleting unborn black babies, black male babies. Deleting unborn black male babies. She said it to Dr. Umar Johnson to his face. The black female host of the show did not blink when Cynthia G said it. She didn't blink. Huh? So from Africa I came, yeah. Counterinsurgents. Huh? And Chrissy literally said it. If those black girls, those black women get to have it, why can't we have it? You, Chrissy, you can't take that up with black men. You gotta talk to them white men that you try to let pogo stick up and down your esophagus about that. That's not on black men. Black men are not the ones who created America to be racist towards you. It's the same white men you try to lay up under. Huh? All of this tie-in from the actual main topic of this conversation to what we're speaking about right now. All of this weirdo talk about self-actualizing. Ain't nobody want to talk about race. Nobody want to talk about the economy, income, education status, the way women now see men with their newfound education status, position in this society, money, income, how they see marriage and relationships now. That's why I say let them talk. Let women talk. Let them talk long enough. At first, they're going to sound like Leisha Miller. At first. Particularly for leftist women. At first. They're going to sound like Leisha Miller and they're going to sound like Kim Foster. They're going to sound like Lil Bill. These men got to go to therapy and they got to self-actualize. And you let them talk long enough and it's going to come right back to the money. What was the article that Abba and Preach covered, written by a woman on the left? Nah, if you want essentially a liberal marriage, an egalitarian marriage, you got to date liberal. She was saying the women are being hypocrites. Let's cut to the crap. She said the women are being hypocrites. That's what she was saying. Leftist women are being hypocrites because they want traditionalism, patriarchy. Uh-oh. Huh? They want patriarchy. But Lil Bill won't say that. He won't. The only person that came close for the most part, Kim Foster made a blink and you'll miss it comment about this. FD Signifier made a blink and you'll miss it comment about this on T Noir's channel. And I gotta give it to you, Professor Odie. Professor Odie made a whole goddamn think piece about this. Ain't get no views like that. Of course it didn't. Because he wasn't going on the men. He wasn't going in on the men. He was telling the women, hey, y'all know y'all being a bit hypocritical here, right? Y'all know y'all looking like sexist hypocrites here. Huh? He ain't getting that many views on that think piece. Of course he didn't. He was never going to. No, Professor Odie, your job is to do what FD Signifier and Foreign Man in a Foreign Land and Conscious Lee is doing. It's to beat up on the men all day, every day, and lie to their face about what they're seeing and experiencing from the women. To attempt to reframe, as Signifier was saying, to reframe what men are seeing, right? Don't believe your lying eyes. That's your job, Professor Odie. Not to tell the women, hey, ladies, are you sure, ladies, it's looking a little, just a smidge, just a little teeny bit hypocritical. What you're doing here, it's looking like you want feminism and patriarchy at the same time. It's looking like you want patriarchy under feminist specifications. Huh? That's what it's looking like. How Jeff Brown say it? I can't tell you what it is. I can tell you what it looked like. Huh? But instead of that, we have Little Bill over here and the people in his comments BSing. Huh? And one of these ladies says, I've dated a lot of men, and gosh, the boring ones are disheartening. Okay. Right? And someone says, let me actually do this. Give me 1 second. I think the reason most men are single is probably more just than most men are boring, quote unquote, most men are boring. Between my current generation being so mental on both sides of the gender divide that their best relationship matches the Columbia fireball, social isolation, and the strange paranoid post-COVID society we've been living in, there's a lot of reasons most men are single now. Boringness probably not being the highest on the list, right? And so that person is saying, okay, there's a number of things. It's not just boring. And Lil Bill comes back and says, I promise you it is. He says, I promise you it is. Ooh, oof, I'm telling you, oof. That person wasn't even being antagonistic. Lil Bill is saying, no, I promise you it's not boring. Y'all give Z 1 second. Oh, okay. And y'all give Z 1 second. And we're back. And Lil Bill says, I promise you it is. It all comes back to socialization. The same way non-white, specifically black and brown people, are conditioned to adopt their behavior and appearance to white sensibilities. Women are conditioned to adapt their male gaze. Honestly, women know more about how, I guess he's trying to say how to attract men than we do. In the same way, black people understand white people better than whites because we have to literally in order to survive, to literally understand them in order to survive. In other words, if you change, the women will change, right? The women are only looking at you as a walking wallet because you're a walking wallet, right? Wow. Huh? Women know men better than men know men. This also speaks to, once again, a very feminist worldview, black feminist worldview. This is standpoint theory on steroids. You can't really know the world, or you definitely don't see the world the way I see the world, and I know my worldview is more superior than yours. Because I'm a black woman, don't you know? And Lil Bill said, you know what? Those women are right. Huh? This is standpoint theory on steroids, right? Wow. Someone said, um, give me a second, yo. Hopefully this stays. And it did. Perfect. And someone says, bro said most men are boring. Most people are boring. Society is failing because the family unit was replaced by women getting degrees to earn enough money to be in debt on luxury items and student loans. That comment is only 2 hours long. That's probably why nobody has commented and downvoted it, and Lil Bill ain't try to flame him. Right? Wow. Wow. Yeah, yo. And Better You says, I often wonder if these people are grifting or have truly drank the Kool-Aid. Bruh. That's something I grapple with too. I grapple with that question also, right? Here goes someone that really just straight up said it. Bill, we're not lame. Their standards are just effed up. But he can't say that, man. He can't say that. And that comment only has one like and one person put 103 times. He can't say that, man. He like I tell you, the best you're gonna probably ever get from them brothers is Professor Odie in that think piece he put out a few months ago. That's the best you're gonna get. Even the black male feminists got to be even more dogged about insulting you than the women do, because how else is he gonna show his bona fides, right? Wow. And here go another insult flex. Terminally online dudes don't realize the best pickup line you can use is hi or hello. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And from Africa I came says, Z, they are lying. They know what it is. I know. I know. I'm saying, while I'm saying, I don't know, man. Actually, let me take that back. I don't know. I don't know. I think for many, yes. I agree with you. For many, yes. Yes. And we saw that with FD Signifier and him and T Noir looking at each other saying, how are we supposed to tell these women that what they're asking for is patriarchy? And both of them looked at each other and said, you could see the look on their face. Both of them had that, shoot, not me. I'm not going to be the one. I'm not going to tell these women this double standard talk is patriarchal. Huh? This one foot in patriarchy and one foot in feminism is patriarchal. I'm not going to say it. They looked at each other and both of them had the look on their face like, not me. Huh? But at the same time, from Africa I came, I think some actually drank the Kool-Aid. Some actually are true believers, and that includes the men. Some are true believers. I'm talking about heterosexual men. There are heterosexual men with daddy issues, bro. And they really bought into what their mom told them about their dad. They went to college and university and got into some feminist organizations. They still find women attractive. They're not, out here doing strange things with other dudes, but they really bought into the issue is black men have we're messed up. We're all type of sexist and misogynist and sexist and colorist, and the women are right about everything they've ever said about men. Black men in specific, there are men that actually bought into that. And they get their little pat on the head from the women. Good boy. Regurgitating all worldview about other men. Good boy. Right? And they get off on that. And they don't know how to talk about heterosexual men without being extremely antagonistic, mean, snarky, condescending, and extremely antagonistic. Look at Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. That's a Bahamian brother, a swole ass Bahamian brother, and he couldn't help but call you Nick Cell, and he thought it was funny. Making little sexual innuendo jokes, jabbing at, he can't help it. And that's what the feminists teach them. You got to be antagonistic to the men. Look at Simone Sanders. Simone Sanders was on that panel with a bunch of, when it was MSNBC, I want to say, with a bunch of white women, and the white women were being, they got to play willfully ignorant, right? They got to play that. Not Simone Sanders. She was antagonistic, essentially saying the men need to step up. The black woman got to be the one that's on that. Of course she. And y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back, right? And thank you, Leon, for the super chat once again. Thank you, Leon, for the super chat. And yeah, they're not being self-actualized. That's a bunch of, willful. That's a bunch of whimsical talk. That's the word I was looking for, whimsical talk, right? And let me read this one now. And Chef Butter Biscuit says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Chef Butter Biscuit says, with each day, the more I agree with Edward's stance on if the black community can't be anything else but a gynocracy, then it shouldn't exist. Too many butter biscuit fiends running interference. I agree. I agree. And I actually, excuse me, and I'm actually leaning more and more towards what Ed is saying, but I want to go into detail about why. Because the men are still going to be expected and, quite frankly, demanded to overproduce, right? So what you will have, and this is what society's trying to push, this is what you're hearing from Dr. Richard Reeves, even though he's trying to frame it differently, patriarchy by feminist specifications, and then we'll call that egalitarianism. We'll call men overextending themselves, overproducing from women who give them the middle finger, overproducing from mean, snarky, a-hole women who think that they are better than these men, who won't even give these men sympathy vagina, right? You're supposed to overproduce for those women, whether she has a kid or not. Definitely she has a kid from Chisel Chin Brad or Chisel Chin Tyrone, right? But yeah, I agree. The reason why, if it's going to be a gynocracy, then it might as well not exist. It's because even in the gynocracy, especially quite frankly in the gynocracy, the men are expected to overproduce. And we'll call the community being built off of your resources But us being the face of the community, us being the voice of the community, us being the director of those resources, we'll call that egalitarianism. And the best you'll get, the most you'll get. And if you're super lucky, is at your funeral, we'll say he was a good man. That's the best you'll get. You won't get appreciation during your lifetime because ill, right? The best you'll get is at your funeral, he was a good man. Get the hell out of here. Huh? So yeah, I agree with that, Chef Butter Biscuits, and I agree with Ed on that one. Hell no. Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That this is insane talk coming from people, right? Huh. And all of this ties in. This ties into the main topic, everyone. Between Lil Bill, between what I covered with Leisha Miller a few nights ago, between what Ostepco is saying, I want y'all to understand. They see the writing on the wall. They see the numbers, the theys, right? They know. And what liberals and quote unquote progressives, this is not progressive at all, are saying is the reason why so many in the bottom 75%, the bottom 80% are single is not because of finances, it's not because of money, it has nothing to do with that. Or it has very little to do with that. They de-emphasize that. It's really character flaw in the men and the boys. It's really the men and the boys have sexist views about women, sexist views about their own selves and their own roles and capabilities and abilities and what they should be doing. And because it's going unfulfilled, that's why. Once again, you're not likable. You have to make yourself likable, and you as a man you're not likable, and that's why you're single. You're single because you're not likable, right? You haven't made yourself likable. You haven't developed a personality. You haven't self-actualized. You haven't worked on yourself enough, right? So the left, the social left, the culture war left, the pop culture left, right? Talk about chronically online. The chronically online left says, no, it's not really about the money. It's not really about women's concepts of patriarchy. Once again, patriarchy by feminist specifications. Nope, 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 nope. It's about the men. See, the men can't cope with the fact that the women don't need them anymore, right? And they're not trying to do partners. You're right. We're not trying to do partners. That one, you're definitely right about that. Because y'all are full of crap. Women, y'all not trying to do partners either. If I show you what partnership look like, you'll run. Y'all gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, and I'm going to keep on emphasizing this. I'm glad I was one of the first to kind of bring this up, which is what we have now is a class warfare that many on the left are engaging in also. So it's not just the right, but the left has some really interesting, slick ass excuses for your ass. They de-emphasize the money part. They de-emphasize the class part. They de-emphasize the women's hypocrisy. And they go all in on, you know what the real issue is? The men haven't self-actualized. You know what the real issue is? The men haven't sought therapy. You know what the real issue is? The men still want to practice hard 10 toes down patriarchy. You know what the real issue is? The men aren't likable. You know what the real issue is? The men haven't developed personalities. They can't let go that they don't have this insane income gap on women anymore. And so now they have to develop a personality and be likable. That's the real issue. It's not about the money, right? It's not about the status. It's not about women saying, hey, I went to college this long. If I can't get a man on my level or above, emphasis on the above, then I'd rather be single. And not that I really rather be single. It's really me just throwing an adult temper tantrum that I can't be with the elite man. And I'm not actually comfortable being single. I'm actually really angry about it. But I'll say that I'm comfortable being single, right? That's what I'll say. Huh? This, everyone, this is what we're talking about. I want y'all to be super careful with these women, with these type of people, interacting with them. You don't got a choice, but be careful, right? Shout out to all of y'all that work from home, right? Oh boy. Huh? And we'll continue. And next, once again, thank you for that super chat, Chef Butter Biscuits. Thank you for the super chat. And Vince says, I once bought into it, and I'm here now. Yeah, brother, I get it. Many of us are raised by single mothers, single black mothers. Our aunts are single, our grandma's single, feminized as black community. And so all the women, all they tell their sons all day is how horrible black men are. And how they single because daddy ain't ish. All they talk, that's all it's all color purple talk. All waiting to excel talk. All thin line between love and hate talk. Right? All love, what love got to do with it, Tina Turner talk. That's all they got for their sons. So I could understand how brothers could become adults and enter college and university and be like, yeah, you know what? Mama was right. Until they start really dating and they realize, oh crap, mama was a hypocrite. And this is what's actually going on. Not saying men are sugar and spice and everything nice, because nobody says that. That's what they say about women. But no, these relationships don't go bad because of the men 100% of the time or even 80% of the time. Quite frankly, not even 50% of the time. Oh no, these women are a trip. These women are sneaky and liars and entitled and brats and materialistic and sexist and misandrist. No one told me this. I get it, Vince. I get it. Right? Especially in the black community. Everybody's lying to black men in their faces. All these elders are lying to black men. The elder black men, the elder black women are lying to black young men, black boys to their faces, and then wonder why your son pop up with the Latina at the family reunion. Forget red pill rage. On the other side of red pill rage is SYSBM and passport bro. Huh? You wondering why your son popped up with the Latina, with the white girl, with the Asian. Huh? Or you wonder why he's single and he out here. Because y'all lied about the dynamic between men and women to your son's faces. Huh? And to be frank with you, you lied to your daughters too. That's why your daughters be doing the reach back after they get ran through by the white boys and the Latinos. We're not even going to mention the Asians. That's not a real thing. Shout out to Only Logical once again. When divesting goes right, Ostepco is one of them. She said it. And this season of my life, I can only see me with a black man. Yeah, because you got mad about whatever situation was going on with you and black men or not going on. You thought them white boys was better, and they saw you coming. Pun intended. And they did you even worse. Olay even admitted it. All you sisters, you swellers, divestors, black men this and black men that, and the white boys do y'all even worse. Most of y'all don't got the ovaries to say it though. Y'all just come back limping back to the black community, limping back to the black community, limping back to the black community, pun intended. Huh? So shout out to Vince. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, brother. Yes. Because mom of them can be honest. Look, man, I was a handful. I was an a-hole. I was mean. Right? Diane Carroll admitted, okay, you know what? I had to live by that. What she said at the end of the fourth marriage or the fifth marriage, that's when she's like, okay, maybe it all the men. I'm not gonna absolve them of whatever they did, but maybe it's not all the men's fault. It took her what 4 or 5 marriages for her to be like, okay. Maybe it's not all the men. Iyanla Vanzant told you, yeah, we you know, women, black women in specific, we got some things to work on. Yes, y'all are a-holes, particularly the black men. Huh? Even Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, oh weird ass, told you men see what they have and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna do what I need to do to maintain this. And women are the ones who project their delusions on the men. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, at least that was the one second she was honest. The women project their delusions on the men and then get mad when the men don't rise up to their delusions. Women could keep on calling it standards all they want. Sounds nice. How dare you not rise to my delusions? Oh, okay. Right. And we'll pause right there. And thank you once again, Vince, for the super chat. And Chef Butter Biscuit also says he's lucky black women's maxed out the credit card on black men on the download because the grown man saying most men are boring is probably because for investigation of an investigation. Uh-oh. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that about him. I'm not gonna say that. What I will say is it sounds like the type of language that a feminist, particularly in this case, a black feminist would use. Think about this too. We already know the women that men call boring. Excuse me, the men that women call boring. Let's say that again. We already know the men that women want Chisel Chin Tyrone. They just want Chisel Chin Tyrone to break himself to her will when she's ready to be a mother. She's excited by the super tatted brother that's out here scamming. That might be, one of the local D boys. No pun intended on the D word. Well, maybe pun intended. Double entendre. Anyway, right? One of the local D boys. She's turned on, and when she's ready to be a mother, when that biological clock starts ticking a little bit faster, then she want that same man to break himself and somehow magically become husband material, father material. When she realizes that's not going to happen, then she got to be out here with the quote unquote regular 9 to 5 guys, and they're boring to her. Why can't all of you be Tupac? Shout out to Rogish and to who was there on that day? Rogish was there. Obviously, it was on Toya's channel. Toya, was it on Rogish? It was on Toya's first channel. I said it. The ideal man for these ladies is Pac. Not Pac with the Gumby fade. Not Pac that told you how he wasn't getting no women. Not that Pac. The reinvented Pac. The bald Pac. Whether they know Tupac or not, whether they listen to his music or not, that's the ideal man. I'm not talking about Pac's side. I already know. That's the ideal man. Rich, artistic, hood, could be classy, right? Can act, can rap, is liked all around the hood, is generally seen as attractive, charismatic. Most men are not that. So they're boring to these women. I would tell these women, then go eat vagina. I'm pretty sure that'll be exciting for you. If most men are boring, dear Lil Bill, tell these women to go eat vagina then. And they want to see some excitement, go into a same-sex loving relationship. I hear there's a whole lot of fun throwing blows, right? Y'all be out here looking like a Lil Jon music video, looking like a headbanger music video. Mosh pit, huh? Yeah, you're right. Most men are boring. Go into a same-sex loving relationship, though. Fine, most men are boring. Then we're not going to level up. How about that? We're not going to self-actualize. We're not going to level up. We're going to remain boring and lame. And for those of us with a little bit of money, leading with our wallet. If you don't like it, go enter a same-sex loving relationship, or here's some boxing gloves and boxing shoes, and y'all can go fight for the elite men, usually elite white men. How about them apples? Huh? Huh? So that's what I was saying to Lil Bill. You know what, Lil Bill? You're right. Most men are boring. Most black men are even boring. We're boring. We're not budging though. So tell the ladies to get in where they fit in. Tell them to stop complaining on the internet then. Look, just accept it. Most men are boring. Most men are lame. They don't have the money. They don't have the status. They don't even have good D. So go end up with the men that are like that. Go fight for them, literally fight for them, or enter same-sex loving relationships. And I guess y'all be fighting each other. Huh? If that's what it is, then that's what it is. This is insanity. This is absolute insanity. And the population is steady going down. And then you got these weirdo leftists that's coming up with all type of weirdo excuses. Instead, I want you to understand what I'm going to say this. We're going to close out in a minute. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I want to emphasize this. I have to emphasize this. As a fellow leftist, why this is so enraging to me. That just sounds Mr. Z's a little annoyed. I'm not a little annoyed. It's enraging. It's because these people claim to be leftists right up until it comes time to talk about black men, black boys, and their issues. Everything from women to money. All of a sudden, now we super conservative now. Are you sure you haven't self-actualized? It's not systemic. There's not outside forces pulling on this. Nope. No pun intended on that one. No, absolutely not. See, we like to talk about sociological and environment and when it comes to everything else. But because their concept of patriarchy doesn't include how men and women interact. It has nothing to do with how women are invested in the patriarchy. This is the issue. They keep on doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on the men because they do not and they refuse. They're too cowardly to critique the women and say, ladies, you know this would be a little bit easier for men. Fine, we want to defang the men. Fine, cool, all right, for argument's sake. These people refuse to say, okay, women, look, it would be a bit easier for us to do this if y'all weren't demanding that men still be hyper providers and these ultra protectors. And once again, the men you find interesting and the men you'll settle for grinding your teeth to dust after the men you actually want end up with someone else. It would be a little bit easier for us to sell this to men if they weren't running into hypocritical women in the dating scene. Instead of them saying that, we have the Little Bills of the world saying, you know what, the women are treating you like wallets because you're leading with your wallet, because you're boring. You don't. You once again going right back to Leisure Miller. You haven't developed a personality. You're not likable, but you do have a few dollars, so you're leading with your wallet. And she can't help but take advantage of that. Huh? She can't help but take advantage of that. Wow. And Mr. Donnie Mack says, maybe our working definition of patriarchy is not fully accurate. I think you're right. I think you're right. But when we say "our," we're not necessarily saying "our" as in the Black manosphere. We're saying "our" as a collective society, particularly in the Black community. Because they start talking about black patriarchy, and I'm like, where? When did this exist? And where is it now? Huh? And so again, Chef Better Business, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right? So that's why y'all hear Mr. Z respond the way he does, because it's enraging. I thought I was talking to the people that like to talk about systemic issues and how to work through them and actually try to work through them. Not the people that continue to double and triple and quadruple down on the issue is this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. And I'm saying that because I'm too cowardly to address the other part. Uh-oh. Huh? These men refuse to develop a personality. They're not likable. Once again, I will say this for the 1 millionth time. Now include Little Bill. Little Bill and Leisure Miller. Lil Bill, you said most men are boring. Leisure Miller, you said the men lack personality and they're not likable. The majority of the US are women. Where are all the likable, not boring women across race? If the men are boring, they're not likable, and they haven't developed a personality, show me all of the charismatic, funny, interesting women. Well, in mass, like just masses of them. We're not talking about the women that all they could talk about is the part of their career they know, they engage with and in. We're not talking about the women who they think keeping you up to date on news and current events is talking about some pop culture gossip. I just eliminated like 80% of women with that right there, particularly in the Black community. Huh? We're talking about women who know interesting and different things. They have hobbies. Huh? Their idea of a good time is not just day parties and shopping and going to restaurants and being foodies. Damn, Z, you just eliminated like 90% of women right there. 95. Huh? What's the clip? Where's the white women at? Where's the interesting women at? Huh? So I want you to understand these people, this is some insidious, underhanded BS. They're trying to give your average, boring ass, uninteresting ass woman the talking points to use on why they're single. I see you, Leisure Miller. I see you, Lil Bill. It ain't gonna work. Not when Z's around. Sheriff in town. Cowboy boots and all. Ooh, no, no, no. Say, I got the answer for you. Say that the men are boring. They're not interesting. The men are boring. They lack personality. They haven't developed the personality, and they're not likable. That's why you're not marrying them. It has nothing to do with the money and the status and the education. Nope, 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 nope. And the fact that they're not white. Oops. Huh? You better say it. And St. Cyr says all the average and below average women are living vicariously through Clark. Yes, they are. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the clip I saw of her, one of them was of a sister saying, "What I want my daughter to be like Clark," or did she say she want her niece? So, man, you couldn't say it no better. They're saying it, and this is what I want y'all to understand. When they don't get to that point, because the vast majority of people, namely women, namely black women, will not be Clark. Do you understand how enraged they are? Mainly at you, black men, because it's always Jermaine's fault, right? Do you understand how enraged they are? Huh? Absolutely right. They're living. I said it. This is some weird kind of like symbiotic relationship they have. The elite women give them the language to use against average men, and then the average women get to live vicariously through the elite women. So they live in vicariously through Kim Foster, through Chrissy, through Yanni, through Paris Milan, through Clark. And the only thing these women really got to do is saying we're all sisters, while those women go out, go to Dubai, go to England, go to Hawaii, travel all up and down the country. They're in Bali, right? They're in France. They've been to the Louvre. And all these women have to do is give these average women some talk of the sisterhood and how horrible men are, particularly black men. Give them the language. And then these average women live vicariously through Kim Foster, through Clark, through Ebony K. Williams. Huh? Imagine, look at all, because shout out to the sisters that were actually like, I don't see nothing wrong with a bus driver. But look at all of the women who work at McDonald's and Walmart. And y'all know Mr. Z, I'm not doing the classism talk to defecate on these women. But let's be very clear. Who got a little job at a bank somewhere, they're a bank teller, they're making all-ish money. All-ish. And they're listening to Ebony K. Williams and they do a girl. What? Yeah, these men are mediocre. Stop. Yawn. Think about calling black men mediocre. Calling your average black man mediocre and you earn $32,000, $35,000 a year as a black woman. You earn $28,000 a year as a black woman. And you're not 23, you're 33. You're 35. And you got the nerve to call black men mediocre because Ebony K. Williams said it. Huh? Oh, I gotta skip over right now to what Vince said. That exactly. And Vince says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Vince says, this can be you feminism. Put it in the book. That's good, Vince. That's good. This could be you. This could be you feminism. Huh? And you saw it when Kim Foster was speaking about her, essentially her aversion to blue collar men or being in a relationship with to blue collar men, and she gave you kind of backstory between aunts who I guess had husbands who didn't value education because they made money blue collar, but they don't value being in certain spaces, white collar talk, and all this other stuff. And you saw a lot of women who you know ain't making, bro, y'all ain't making money like that, but who said similar. That's why. That's why when y'all hear Mr. Z speak about this thing, um, I I I mentioned cars, right? It's the difference between a F-150 and a 3 Series, right? Or F-250 and a 5 Series, huh? And Saint Cyr says, Z, are they netting 28 to 40K, or is that gross? I think what they said, your average black woman that's earned, by the way, 40-hour work week black women. So we're not even speaking about all working age black women or even all black women in the workforce. We're being very specific to the black women, if I'm not mistaken, who are doing 40 hours plus. Isn't that the metric? Somebody correct Z if he's wrong, or put it in the comments. Shout out to the replay gang if you got this far. Put it in the comments. I'll star it so that people, or I'll pin it so that people could read it in case I was a bit wrong here. But if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about 40-hour women that are doing 40-hour work weeks are somewhere around like 36-ish thousand dollars a year, something like that, 35, 36. That's I want to say that was the median, or was that the average? I don't even recall whether it was the median or the average. But if I'm not mistaken, it was like 36-ish thousand dollars a year. So if that's the, let's say, average, how many of those women were agreeing with Ebony K. Williams just because they work at a call center and they wear button-ups and they wear pencil skirts? Or they work at one of these foreclosure mills. Mr. Z used to work at one of these, where you dress up Monday through Thursday and it's, casual Friday. But she's earning $32,000 a year, $30,000 a year, and yet she's in full agreement with Ebony K. Williams, calling black men mediocre. Ma'am, you earn 28, 30, 32,000, maybe even $35,000 a year. You are ish, not even, if we're gonna be honest. But okay, cool. Black people being black, okay, I understand, right? So that's what I'm saying. These Ebony K. Williams, these Leisure Millers, these Kim Fosters, these, right? These type of women give average women the rhetoric and the talking points to talk like they're elite. Man, you're struggling. Once again, single childless black women have the least amount of wealth in America. 8 cents to the white man's dollar, $3,300 in wealth, right? For all of their fastest growing entrepreneurship rate, for all of their the quote unquote most educated rate, we already know what it really is. For all of that talk, for all of that talk, Mr. Z doesn't even bring that up to make fun of black women. We're black. I understand the system we're in. You know, the anti-black system that y'all like to play down so y'all can make fun of black men. All those, and we see those black women sound like straight up racist. Black men are using racism as an excuse still, huh? Black men are still using y'all. Y'all got patriarchy on your side. When were black men ever able to tap into patriarchy? White patriarchy? Yeah, that's it. Huh? I saw that clip. Who was it from? Was it you only logical? Somebody had on their channel with three black women talking crazy, but the one in the middle that's out here being a streetwalker, we'll say, talking about black men pay the least amount for the services, and they always want to haggle you, and then they always want to spend the most time with you. And I don't want to hear no excuses. And patriarchy, y'all got patriarchy. Y'all could tap into patriarchy. I'm glad women like that talk. You got remember everyone. Lil Bill told us that essentially why the women boil us down to walking wallets is because we walk around like we're walking wallets. And then this young lady said, "Yeah, you're not patriarchal enough, black men." Uh-oh. You think you're more than the money you spend it on me, black men. Ooh. You think this is more than transaction, or you're trying to make it more than transaction, black men. And this is a streetwalker talking, y'all. Huh? Not saying she's a literal streetwalker, like that's how she sells her wares, because I'm pretty sure that's not how she sells her wares. But she out here selling her wares. And she's telling you the issue with black men is that they're not patriarchal enough. And by the way, she's not even the first black woman to say that. But let Lil Bill tell it. The problem is that black men are boring, and that boring men lead with their wallets. Okay, yeah, that's it. And Afro National says it makes you wonder what the hell do they think patriarchy is, man. I think it's floating. Remember, we live in a post-structural, postmodern society. So I don't know if you would get a universal definition or anything resembling a universal definition from these people. I think they're saying for them, patriarchy is anything that benefits men in any kind of way, or other than women, or anything that even looks like it might be benefiting men disproportionately than women, or anything that looks like male leadership, or anything that looks like men winning, or anything that looks like men are happy. Anything that looks positive for men is patriarchy. Huh? Right? Exactly, Mr. Shook to you. She was not only a streetwalker, but also a flight stewardess and an entrepreneur, right? Exactly. Exactly. I remember. Right? And once again, Vince, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And I guess I'll read this finally. And Deemer 73. I don't know why I always struggle with your name. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And he says, "Bravo, brother Z. Salute to brothers in the chat for the black male media plate. Thank you, brother. Thank you." Right. And shout out to the Black Manosphere. So, yo, so we started off speaking about Ostepco. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. We started off speaking about Ostepco, and now we're speaking about um, Lil Bill in his comments. Shout out to Better You, who dropped this bomb on me and kept it moving. He knew I was gonna rage out. You, Better You instigator, you. Um, right, Mr. Z could have controlled himself, but nah, screw that. And this is the left engaging with this conversation now, by the way. So look, Mr. Z is imploring BGS to pull the lightsaber out the closet. It's time to go lop off some heads, because now I would argue this, and this is Mr. Z's tinfoil conspiracy theory, right? So we doing tinfoil kufis and tinfoil do-rags right now. The left realizes that the man-woman conversation is what's helping to propel young men into a more conservative bent. It's not, and I would argue, this is my argument, these young men are not actually conservative. They want traditionalism. There's a difference. And the conservatives know that, but it don't matter to them. Is if you vote for them, you vote for them. That's what they're trying to get. They don't care what you think this is or what you feel this is. The men want stability and they want traditionalism. I don't think they actually are 10 toes down with everything that comes with the Republican Party and with conservatives, including big business and subsidizing big business, and an insane military industrial complex, and the chicken hawks, and always at war and always changing some other nation's government, overthrowing other nations' government. I'm arguing most young men that might be leaning more conservative, it's really traditionalism. That's what they're leaning to. And I would argue the left realizes that. And so instead of talking to these young men nice, they're doubling and tripling down on the BS, on insulting these men, on belittling these men, on telling the men, you know what? Your issue is you're sexist. It's not, look, we done hoarded, us elites, we done hoarded all the wealth and opportunities and the dreams and aspirations. And so, yeah, the women in your classes are still demanding that you hyper provide for them. But for the most part, you can't. And so we're not going to tell them that we defanged you. We're going to give them the language to call you sexist, because that's what you are. And the young men said, "All right, bet. Watch this. Hey, cast that vote for me. For Donald Trump. My ballot goes to Donald Trump. Right? Huh? Better you says what? Who me? Clutches invisible pearls. Huh? Yeah. So the left knows that much of what's fueling this energy coming from men and from women, to be frank, is the lack of. It's not. Let's go through it. Not only are these young people not getting married, they're not having children. Okay, fine. They're not having children. They're not getting married, but they're not even having sex. They're not even friends. They're not even companions. We're talking about across the gender line, the gender divide. And the left sees that. And instead of being honest, okay, fine, there's a leftist critique. And maybe I have to do a think piece on that. A real, um, think piece, not alive. I got to get with compassionate. We might have to do a pre record to go over and give a leftist critique, not that fake ass crap that Leisha Miller tried to do, but a leftist critique on why the marriage rate is going down. And I don't have to be overly harsh on the women to do it either. Maybe I need to show other leftists how the hell this is supposed to go. Lames. Because this is way easier than what y'all doing. And there's a way to critique the system without throwing regular average 9 to 5 men or men that want to be 9 to 5 men under the bus to get some cool points from bitter single women. Because y'all not being honest with the bitter single women are why they bitter single women. Right? Better you says, please put me in that video. Right? And maybe I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. I think that's I'm gonna have to get with I'm gonna have to drop some real money on that. Because there's a couple of think pieces I've been thinking about doing pre-records, getting back to my pre-record game, but this time I need to actually have my production on point. Right? So I'm gonna have to work. I'm gonna have to really work with compassion on that. Because I can bring up neoliberalism, right? I can bring up the Powell memo, I can bring up no fault divorce and tie all of that in. And I don't have to necessarily throw black women or women writ large under the bus. You can mention what this did to marriage and relationships without I don't have to be antagonistic to the ladies. When I do, I choose to be. But the rest of the left look like they can't do that. Even FD. Because y'all giving the women the red meat. No pun on that. Huh? And Saints says, Z, you know they grift for the money, though they don't care. They're going to say all and believe all their talking points for the bag. Yeah, they're going to say and believe all. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Saints. Right, but I can't help it. And once again, Ag Deemer, there we go. Jesus Christ, Z. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And KW Don says, and thank you for the super chat. The median income for Black women in America is 41K. Chat GPT. Right, I think it's actually lower than that. I think that might have been one of Chat GPT's hallucinations. Right, isn't that what they call it when they give the wrong answer? I think it's actually a bit lower than that. Wait, you said average or median? No, you said median. No, I think it's lower than that. It's average maybe, but not median. I think median is closer to the mid 30s, like 35, 36, maybe 37 now with inflation, because I think those numbers that I'm reciting came out in like, what are we in 2024, maybe 2021, 2022. So it's very possible that it's 37 now. 37, maybe even 38, but I don't think it's gotten past the 30s, right? And I definitely don't think it's 41. Even with inflation and people are making a couple of dollars more now because these corporations and governments realize, yeah, we've been being neoliberal a little too long and a little too much, and we got to flick a little bit more crumbs off the table now, just a smidge more, right? Yeah. And Saint Cyr says, yeah, ChatGPT be messing with the info sometimes. You have to rephrase some of the questions and add input. Then it will dig for more info. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Yeah. Yep. Eric Demon says, get on that, Z. Man, I got to go find the time. That's the problem. I got to go find the time. I don't know where I'm going to find the time. I got to go look under a couch, right? Look under the hood of the Z. Oh, boy. Right? Now I got to go find the time somewhere. The time might be in my wallet. It's definitely not in my wallet. I gotta go find the time somewhere, right? But I really do think it's needed because, as I said, and coming to a close, as I said, much of the angst and the anger and the resentment, particularly in the Black community, between Black men and Black women, the ire definitely coming from Black women. Oh, you better believe it, is because of the inability to make these things work, make Black men and Black women work. We were never actually supposed to work. Welcome to America, right? We were never actually supposed to work, but we don't really have a choice in the matter at this point. We never really had a choice, definitely, right? Post-slavery. That's something I would argue the Black community, the Black Western diaspora understood post-slavery in the West. But now that it looks like, emphasis on looks like, now that it appears to, emphasis on appears to, seem that we have, emphasis on seem, that we have choices and options. Black people think they have choices and they could not be Black. They could not couple up. Right? That they're not shackled to Blackness no matter what they do. Once again, we're not speaking about the color of Black. We're speaking about the socio-political position of Blackness. And that you don't have a choice in at all. We're not talking about color here. We're talking about the socio-political position of Black, of being a Black person. Huh? And so, yeah, no, I think I really have to work on this. Come up with an outline, come up with different clips I want to put in there, timestamp. Oh boy, this is whoo. I'm about to enlist the services of Miss Z on this one because I'm not doing this by myself. Right? Right? So yeah. Yeah, y'all. So we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. Go touch some grass. Shout out to FD Signifier. To Ostefco, I say once again, thank you for the candor that you do show when you do show it, how you show it. Do we believe everything? No. But okay, fine, right? That's why I continue to review Ostefco. She says things the other women just will not admit. Notice what I didn't say. It's not that they're not experiencing this. It's not even that they won't internally agree with Ostefco, but the way their pride and ego is set up, the way their hubris is set up, they can't. And shout out to Nema and Toya for bringing hubris back into Mr. Z's lexicon. Right? The way their hubris is set up, they just can't. And by the way, that's gonna hurt them. That's hurting Black men, unfortunately, but that's definitely gonna hurt Black women. Right? And then our second part, our second act, shout out to once again Better You. Yeah, Lil Bill in the BS, and I guess I'll put the link in the description box for those of you. Shout out to the replay gang. There's no way you listened this long. But shout out to the replay gang. I'll put the link in the description box so you can see what we were referring to. Yeah, right. And to Lil Bill, I say that sound nice. Okay, fine. Men are boring. Men are not going to change. So tell women to go eat vagina then. Well, the women are far more okay with being single than anything. That's a lie, and y'all know it. That's a lie from the pits of hell. If they were actually okay with being single, they wouldn't be complaining on the internet. They wouldn't be engaging in all of this rageful ass content on the internet. All in the comments for different videos, different think pieces, different TikToks, different YouTubes, different Instagrams, different all of it. They all in the comments, huh? I'm perfectly okay with being single. Yeah, that's it. So you have what half of the female community, black female community, lying about being okay with being single. The other half admitting that okay, I don't like this. Huh? So shout out to you, Lil Bill. Okay, fine. Men are boring. For argument's sake, fine. Men are boring. Now what? Tell the women get comfortable with the rose toy and go engage in same-sex loving relationships and go be the pass around for the elite men, mainly white, right? And so on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Truly, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I'm not sure if Dr. Thunder is streaming. I'm pretty sure the Roger Report is streaming now. So y'all go check out the Roger Report. Y'all go check out Dr. Thunder if he's still streaming. And shout out to you, Benny. And Benny says, thanks again, Mr. Z. You know, so what Mr. Z does. Got my dander up this morning. Goddamn, better you. I read through all of those comments. I've literally read through all of those comments. Right? I was reading through the comments while I was live with y'all. Oh, yeah. Right. So, all right, y'all. We will pause right here, truly, and y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. And this concludes Mr. Z's Reckless Streams. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.